Hi, in this segment, we're going to cover how to record attendance through the Units of Service module. Before I start, let me show how we're defining attendance. Currently, as of the day I'm recording this video, uh, for after school OST, any participant that is at the location signed in and leaves less than 90 minutes would be considered absent, the same as if they were not there at all. So they have to be there at least 90 minutes or more to be considered present. If they're present, we record 1.00 or 1 and 0 if absent. So that's how we will define after school. Now that's subject to change in the future, or you could have a unique contract which specifies something other than that. So refer to your contract and make sure that you and your contract manager both agree that's what you should be recording for your attendance. Now, how do we do this? From the landing page, I'm going to navigate through the delivery option to my test program page that we'll be using called TP1. You go to your program page or pages, and once on the program page, there's two ways to get to the attendance module. You can either go to the drop down program details and choose record individual attendance units of service, or you can click the blue button that says record attendance. So I'll do that. Both options will take you to the same place. Now I'm on the attendance module. Uh, so you will always be presented with it will default to a certain date range that comes through its algorithm. So you probably will want to change that. And there's two approaches that are standard. One is you can choose a custom range. Let's say you want to go from the first day of the month to the current day of the month. And then those date columns will appear for all the students that have an active open episode in your demographic records module. If you have a student that's in your program and you have created a demographic page, but they don't show up here, that means that they do not have an open episode starting with a date that's within the range you're looking at. And those types of things are covered in the video section on the open and closing episodes. Now, we recommend that you record attendance daily. And so, really, the best way to do that is just come here and choose today. And then that will put in the column just for today. Now, I've already been doing some testing here, so I'm going to actually take out or remove the values that I had here. And you'll see that. And then I can also do a space and remove and so forth. And let's see if I've got one there. There we go. So you see the total down on the bottom is now 0. So if you have 100 students or a large roster, sometimes it's easier to use pre-fill to show everyone is present and then just go back and zero out or space out those handful of students that might be absent. So I can do that by choosing pre-fill, and then I'm going to pre-fill everyone as present with a 1, click OK. And then let's say that I just go in to a couple of records that may represent an absent student. I can use a 0 or a space, tab out, and now you see my total down here in my test data. Although I have 10 records, 2 have no attendance, they're absent with a 0 or a space, and it counts that as such. It's probably best to use a 0, as that's technically the way we record absent, but a space would work as well. Now, it could happen from time to time that you didn't get a chance to do your attendance every day. So you could come in again with the custom range, or you could do the last week and so on. It's self-explanatory on the options there. And I wanted to point out that let's say we're doing the 4th, and I started doing the 4th already. I can click the cell that already has a value, in this case a 1. And like an Excel spreadsheet, I can just pull that down. I can pull it down vertically, or I can pull it over horizontally. And that's a quick way to do attendance. And then I could just come back in and hit those students that were absent on any particular day. Now, when you do this, you're referring back to your sign-in sheet. So ideally what you do is once the sign-in sheets have been completed for the day, you review those and then record accordingly. This would get all of the different ways to do your data. Remember, it's pre-fill and one, but let me encourage you never to use pre-fill when you're showing a date range of multiple date columns. That would pre-fill every one of these columns, and then you'd have a little bit more of a complex task ahead of you going in and zeroing out all the absences. So I recommend that you only use pre-fill when you're doing one date. Now you can do that again by doing just today, or you could do a custom range. I think this will let me do this. Let's see. Oh, they took that functionality out, so I can't do just one day column. I can do two as the smallest range. To return back to the program page, I can come up to the drop down, choose program details, and that will take me back up here where I can do other things. Let me also mention the close dates module is critical for after school. You see how I have days closed for the month of August, and that is necessary for the payment report to work properly. So again, to go to program details, I'm back at the base program page, and then record individual attendance or use the blue button every day. Go in and do your attendance based on your sign-in sheets, and you will never get behind. And one other thing, if you may have delegated attendance to one of your employees, you can also use various reports to go in and see how that work's going. Here we see a monthly detail report, and I ran this before I started the training video when I only had one day of August filled in, and you can see that I can quickly determine how many units were recorded for that day and which participants may have received any. We're doing some testing right now with duplicates, so that's why normally you will not have duplicates shown on your reports. And the other report that is, let's see if I still have it open. No, I don't. There is another report that can be used as quality control for attendance, and that's the Units of Service Activity Report. Actually, there's a number of reports that can be used, and you simply choose program, the fiscal period that's relevant. You can do a begin date and end date for the month itself or the whole year if you want a year-to-date amount, and put in your program name, and then run the report. And in just a moment, we'll see a total for the units that have been entered. In this case, I see 41 units have been entered. That's how much they're paid per unit. And this is an easy way to see if someone else is doing attendance. You can run this report. If you know today it's 41, tomorrow you can run it and see if that's increased or not. So the activities report, the UOS activity report, the PUS monthly detail report, there's some other reports that could be used. I'll cover these in the reports section of the video. So that's all you need to know to get your attendance recorded through the Units of Service module for standard after school contracts.